The houses are old and beautiful, and residents don't part with them easily. But there's one house between 1590 and 1610 Pennsylvania Avenue that's changed hands 43 times, and it still has a lot of the same furniture. Want to come inside?
Our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., is the proud home of the West Wing.
Whether you arrive by air at one of the 3 beautiful airports that now serve Washington, D.C., or by train, arriving at the beautiful Union Station just 2 blocks from Capitol Hill, or over the network of highways that all lead to this fascinating city. Welcome to Washington, our nation's capital. We're pleased to have you here. And here is where it's happening, in a city that has a representative from almost every country in the world, and an official representative from every state in America. Hello, I'm Paul Berry, a longtime resident here and your host as we take you on a special tour of Washington, D.C. You immediately notice the unique design of this city. There are fascinating buildings and impressive monuments. There are embassies, historic memorials, and scenic vistas. We have lovely rivers and plain old-fashioned neighborhoods, all within the city's 13 square mile area, where every day decisions are made by political and diplomatic power brokers that impact the entire world. But it's not all business here. It's also a place to relax, to have fun, to enjoy yourself. And if dining out is your idea of enjoyment, you have found the mecca of choices. From the finest French restaurants anywhere on the East Coast to the most exotic of choices found on the Ivory Coast and everything in between. Authentic dishes from around the world await you, including the best in American cuisine.
The Washington Palm Restaurant is known for a lot of politics, sports figures, lobbyists, movers and shakers, presidential candidates, lobbyists from all over the country. We also get quite a few foreign dignitaries that like to dine in American food. They specialize in steak and lobster, and we've been here for 26 years. I'm on my 26th year here right now. We've been through over 5 administrations, both Republican and Democrat. So we have to kind of walk the fence and, take care of the Republicans, take care of the Democrats. Typical bipartisan restaurant.
You can come into this city, and it's like coming into a living museum. You can come in with your children and teach them the history of America. You can go through some of the greatest museums in the world. We have some of the greatest exhibits in the world.
The National Air and Space Museum is the busiest museum at the Smithsonian. In fact, it's the busiest museum in the world. Last year they had 10 million visitors here. This gallery, the first one as you step in, is the Milestones of Flight Gallery, which has the first of flight, and I think that's why it's so popular with everyone. It has the Wright Brothers Flyer, it has the first plane that broke the sound barrier, it has the Spirit of St. Louis, and all of these are the originals. These aren't replicas. Other things in this museum, if you were to say what's a must-see in the Air and Space Museum, probably Amelia Earhart's plane, which is upstairs, the Space Hall, which has John Glenn's spacesuit and takes you through the space race, starting in the with the Cold War and on through the Challenger disaster and other things. Also, this museum has an IMAX theater, and that's very popular. All day long, they run different films and the big, 5-story high IMAX screen. There are 3 huge museums at the Smithsonian. One is the Air and Space Museum, and that's where we are now, and the other is the Museum of Natural History and the Museum of American History. If you were to come to Washington and you had your must-see list, I think it would probably include the Hope Diamond in the Museum of Natural History, which about a year and a half ago was put in a beautiful new setting where it rotates around. It's in its own special case and in its own gallery. Also in Natural History is the favorite of all the kids, the Dinosaur Hall and the Insect Zoo. Moving on, as you go closer to the Washington Monument, is the Museum of American History. And I think the first stop there for a lot of people is the First Lady's gowns, which is, it's a lot more than just an exhibit of dresses. And then, of course, there are a number of other Smithsonian museums, including some that are not here on the mall. Well, the best thing about it is that it's all free. All the Smithsonian museums are free, and they're open 7 days a week. We're closed only Christmas Day, and the museums are usually 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and sometimes in the summer there's evening hours.
This is one of the most special places to me in all of Washington, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. As a Vietnam vet, I made it out of Vietnam, but 58,000 of the names on this wall did not. Another 300,000 were wounded, 75,000 permanently disabled. It represents the longest war of our nation, from 1959 until 1975. Now millions of people come here each year. There's a good reason why.
For a day of indulgence, send yourself or your loved one to Toca, one of the premier and top-rated day spas in the Washington, D.C. area. Our acclaimed international team awaits your arrival to pamper you with our services and treatments and provide you with a look and feel that reflects your personality and lifestyle. We assure that you'll feel and look like a Washington power broker when our team refines, improves, and enhances your natural beauty. Whether you're looking for a haircut and color or total skin care, massage or manicure and pedicure services, Toca has 2 outstanding locations ready to pamper you: the flagship salon in the heart of Georgetown or the newest salon in downtown Penn Quarter. And while you're there, look around. You never know who's right next to you at Toca Salons.
There's a city ordinance that says that no structure can be taller than the Capitol dome. See, the city planners didn't want anything to overshadow the majesty of the Capitol building. I've seen the Capitol building. It's got nothing to worry about. You want to see for yourself?
Our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., is the proud home of the West Wing.
Bistro Doc, charming, casual, and delightfully French, welcomes you to its 10th Street location just across from historical Ford's Theater. Featuring specialties from the Languedoc region of France, delicious French bistro fare is also served for your pleasure at reasonable prices. Family owned and operated, private rooms and bar available for parties of 10 to 60 people.